proper funding, Keeley says he can produce the motor on a much larger scale and predicts that the Force will one day replace steam as the primary power behind factory equipment, trains, and ships. The amazed businessmen eagerly invest in a machine that they believe will make them rich.
For a lot of people, this was the goose that laid the golden egg. Here is a man who had this incredible power of harnessing these forces of nature that no one could see.
As word spreads about this extraordinary invention, money starts pouring in. At its peak, the Keeley Motor Company is worth an astounding $5 million.
People had invested, in some cases, their life savings into this technology. People invested their faith in this man.
But as the months and then years go by, Keeley fails to produce a model that can be mass-produced, and his shareholders grow increasingly impatient.
They were ready to have his promises come true and to suddenly replace all of the other energy forms on the planet with this new technology. A lot of times, Keeley Motor people would show up at random to see it operate, and Keeley would say, "Oh no, it's not ready to be shown. We're making some improvements on it." And for a lot of people, this arose a lot of suspicion towards Keeley.
Then, in November 1898, investors received news that puts the entire endeavor in peril. John Worrell Keeley is dead. It seems he's taken the secret of the Force with him to the grave. Desperate to unravel the mystery behind the force that powered Keeley's machine, shareholders turned to the inventor's close friend and associate, Thomas Kinraid.
Kinraid was probably petrified at that point in time. No one expected Keeley to become ill and die, least of all this man who was suddenly expected to explain it all to the public.
Kinraid accepts the challenge and arrives at Keeley's lab to examine the apparatus. He analyzes the machine and takes photographs to document his investigation. And the only surviving glass negative from that quest is today part of Jeff Bahari's collection.
Those photos were never published, and I discovered them in 2005, still in Kinraid's home over 100 years later.
Kinraid ships the motor to his hometown of Boston and continues his investigation for months, but to no avail. So impatient stockholders decide to take matters into their own hands and search Keeley's Philadelphia lab for any clues the inventor may have left behind. What they find shocks the men who invested their money and trust in the scientist.
Certain investors in the company and stockholders and a team of scientists from Philadelphia ripped open the walls and found tubes and hoses that run up to the rest of the equipment. There was also found a water motor, and this motor was run from an outside power source and would have been completely undetectable for people.
These elements of Keeley's motor had been hidden during the prototype's original demonstration 25 years earlier. Now, the once eager investors realized that the Keeley motor was little more than an elaborate hoax. After decades of waiting and millions of dollars invested, the shareholders lose everything. The victims of a con man's tales of a mysterious power source and a machine that was too good to be true. Today, in Jeff Bahari's turn-of-the-century electrotherapy museum, this photographic negative is the only surviving proof of a stunning act of deception at the dawn of the electrical age.